All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tear down the investment case for the Oasis, a huge new luxury real estate project in Dubai. We're going to deconstruct the whole argument, the data, the story, the financial projections, and really figure out what's being sold to investors. Let's get into it.
So where does this all start? Well, it kicks off with a feeling we've all had, especially if you're an investor: regret. The sting of a missed opportunity. This story about passing on a villa in the Palm Jumeirah back in the day, that's not just a random anecdote. It's a very specific, very powerful emotional hook designed to frame this entire conversation around that nagging feeling of what if.
And what's the number attached to that regret? 1,000%. Yeah, you heard that right. 1,000%. That's the supposed appreciation on that villa. It's not just a big number, it's a jaw-dropping figure meant to grab your attention and set the stakes incredibly high for what's coming next. So, this perfectly sets the stage for our first big idea. We're going to look at how the fear of missing out, FOMO, is basically hardwired into this investment pitch, using these incredible success stories from Dubai's past to create a massive sense of urgency. And here it is, the big promise laid out bare. The idea that a single, smart move in real estate won't just make you some money. It can literally create generational wealth. It's about transforming your life. That is the dream that's being sold. And this is where they really drive that point home. They show you these two monster examples of appreciation in other big communities. What they're doing is creating a pattern. They're making you feel like the next train is leaving the station and you really don't want to be left standing on the platform again. Okay. So how do they connect that past success to what's happening right now in Dubai's luxury market? Because this isn't just about what happened 10 years ago. The whole thesis is built on a unique opportunity that's supposedly unfolding as we speak. So first up, they hit you with the supply side of things. This chart is meant to be a wake-up call. It shows a massive 65% drop in listings for homes over $10 million in just 1 year. The story they're telling here is simple. The top-tier luxury market is getting squeezed, and it's happening fast. So, okay, supply is getting tight, but what about demand? Well, that's all about value. The pitch is, look at what $1 million gets you in Dubai versus somewhere like Hong Kong. You get way more space for your money, and that relative value, that's the magnet pulling in wealthy buyers from all over the world. But who's actually buying this stuff? This is a really key point. The argument is that the market's changing. It's moving away from the quick flip speculators. Now you've got a huge chunk, 43% of high net worth buyers who are purchasing homes to actually live in. That suggests a more stable, mature market that's less likely to crash. So you've got this perfect storm, right? High demand, not enough supply, and real buyers moving in. And that's when they pull back the curtain and introduce the solution to this market problem, a brand new development called the Oasis by Emaar. So what is it? It's pitched as this totally unique, almost resort-like place to live. The big selling points are these huge, man-made lagoons you can swim in, tons of green space, and, this is crucial, a focus on low-density living. All of it coming from one of the biggest and most reputable developers in the region. And to show you just how exclusive this is meant to be, they put it side by side with another famous project, Dubai Hills Estate. They're about the same size land-wise, but look at the difference. The Oasis has just over 3,000 villas, period. Dubai Hills has over 4,000 villas plus 22,000 apartments. It's a night and day comparison, and that's exactly the point they want to make. All right, now we're getting to the real heart of the pitch. The whole investment case is built on 4 main pillars. We're going to walk through each one: location, livability, brand, and the big one, capital appreciation. So pillar number 1, location, location, location. The argument here is that this isn't just some random plot of land. It's strategically planted in South Dubai, which is being framed as the city's next massive growth zone. It's right near the new Maktoum airport, the so-called Aerotropolis, basically a city built around an airport. The whole idea is you're getting in on the ground floor of what's next for Dubai. Next up, pillar 2, livability. And this is a huge part of the pitch. The idea is that these homes offer something that's becoming super rare: space. Lots of it. Just look at those plot sizes. The story goes that while everyone else is cramming people into smaller and smaller spaces, the Oasis is going big, offering the kind of expansive living that true luxury buyers are looking for. Pillar number 3 is all about the power of a brand name, and it all boils down to this number.
The thesis, citing industry data, is that a branded home can sell for 30 to 40% more than a similar non-branded luxury home. And that premium, it's a huge piece of the puzzle when we get to the final numbers. And they double down on this brand argument by pointing out how rare this is. I mean, sure, you can find branded apartments all over Dubai, but an entire community of villas with a top-tier hotel brand like Address running the show? The pitch is that it's almost unheard of, and that scarcity is positioned as a major, major value driver. All right, this is what it all comes down to, the money, the final part of the puzzle. How does all this stuff, the location, the space, the brand, actually turn into profit? Well, they lay out two different financial scenarios, and we're going to break them down right now. But before we get into the projections, we have to talk about the bedrock of this whole calculation. Everything that follows is built on this one massive claim, that the Oasis is being sold at a price that's 40% cheaper than what comparable villas in other established communities are selling for today. Okay, let's walk through scenario one, what they call their conservative case. You start with your 24 million dirham villa. Then they add a tiny 5% for market growth while it's being built. After that, they stack on that 40% value gap we just talked about and top it off with a 30% brand premium. And what do you get? A projected value of 62 million dirhams. So you go from 24 million to 62 million. What does that mean in terms of profit? It means this, 148% capital appreciation. And that's presented as the conservative estimate. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds great, but what if the market tanks? Well, they've got an answer for that. They call it the doomsday scenario. In this version, they assume the Dubai property market just goes completely flat, 0% growth for 3 years. But here's the kicker. They argue that even if that happens, those two big factors, the value gap and the brand premium, still kick in. And get this. Even in that absolute worst-case scenario, the math still spits out a 115% appreciation. The whole point they're making is that the profit is already baked in from day one, thanks to the pricing and the brand, making the investment super resilient, even in a bad market. So, after we've walked through this whole thing, from the emotional pull of what if, all the way to these jaw-dropping spreadsheets, it leaves you, the investor, with this one massive question. When is an investment like this a genuine ground floor opportunity? And when is it just a really, really good sales pitch? The answer really hinges on whether you believe those core assumptions, that 40% value gap, that 30% brand premium, are locked-in realities or just compelling projections. And that's the billion-dollar question every investor has to answer for themselves.